Welcome to our channel. Today we're counting down the top 10 ancient mysteries that have finally been solved. From forgotten cities to engineering feats that defied logic, these historical enigmas stumped experts for centuries. However, thanks to advances in archaeology, technology, and dedicated research, we now have plausible explanations for some of the most baffling questions from the ancient world. Ready to dive into the past and discover the secrets behind these mysteries? Let's get started. 10. The impossible Egyptian sculpture. One of the most puzzling artifacts in the National Museums of Scotland is a small Egyptian sculpture depicting a young pharaoh sitting in the lap of a mysterious figure. The problem? The figure's face has been sheared off, and for years, both the identity of the pharaoh and the figure remained a mystery. Even more perplexing was the fact that ancient Egyptian art typically depicted pharaohs only alongside royalty or gods, never common individuals. Enter Margaret Maitland, a curator at the museum, who uncovered new details that finally cracked the case. The sculpture, which was crafted by a cult at Deir el-Medina, depicts none other than Ramses II as a child, seated on the lap of a non-royal cult leader named Ramose. This cult had special permission to depict pharaohs with non-royal figures, a rare exception to the traditional artistic conventions of ancient Egypt. Thanks to this breakthrough, the impossible sculpture can now be understood in its true context. 9. Atlantis of the Sands. The legend of a lost Arabian city, sometimes called the Atlantis of the Sands, has captivated explorers and scholars for generations. According to the myth, the city, referred to as Ubar, Iram of the Pillars, or Wabar, was swallowed by the desert after being cursed by the gods. For centuries, its existence was regarded as mere folklore. However, in 1992, archaeologist Nicholas Clapp discovered what may be the origins of this tale. Clapp and his team uncovered an ancient fortress buried under the sands of Oman. This fortress, believed to be over 2,000 years old, was likely part of a trading hub that collapsed into a sinkhole, a natural event that could easily have been transformed into a tale of divine retribution. The fortress is thought to have been part of the larger city of Ubar, a major center for the incense trade. When the fortress fell, the city's economy crumbled, leaving it literally and figuratively lost to the sands of time. 8. The honeycomb skull of Otranto. In 1480, the Italian coastal town of Otranto became the site of a brutal massacre when the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Mehmed II, besieged the city. As part of the resistance, 800 local men were martyred after refusing to convert to Islam. Their skulls were later preserved and displayed in the town's cathedral, where they remain to this day. However, one particular skull has long intrigued historians due to its 16 perfectly round holes. For centuries, no one could explain the source of the holes. Was it some form of ancient punishment or a natural anomaly? Finally, in 2015, researchers at the University of Pisa provided a solution. The holes were created by a surgical saw used in the late Middle Ages. At the time, it was believed that bone powder made from religious martyrs had healing properties, and it was common practice to scrape bones in this manner to create medicinal powders. This gruesome yet fascinating discovery finally put an end to the centuries-old mystery. 7. The pukios of Peru. In the desert of southern Peru, archaeologists have long marveled at a series of spiral wells called pukios. These impressive structures date back to pre-Hispanic times and were clearly built as part of an irrigation system to supply fresh water to the arid region. However, no one could quite figure out how they worked, until recently. Rosa Lasaponara and her team from Italy's Institute of Methodologies for Environmental Analysis studied the pukios and uncovered their secret. These spiral wells utilized wind to channel water through a complex network of underground tunnels and canals. The wells were an ingenious feat of engineering, allowing fresh water to be distributed across the desert landscape. By harnessing natural forces like wind, the ancient inhabitants were able to create a sustainable irrigation system that kept their agricultural society flourishing. 6. The water supply of Palmyra. The ancient city of Palmyra, located in the heart of the Syrian desert, was a flourishing hub of trade and culture during the height of the Roman Empire. But how did such a prosperous city manage to thrive in one of the driest regions of the world? For decades, scholars debated the source of Palmyra's water supply, as the city's location seemed inhospitable to large-scale urban development. Researchers from the University of Bergen worked with members of the Palmyra Museum to investigate the surrounding landscape, and they finally discovered the answer. Satellite imagery revealed a hidden network of buried grass roots that played a crucial role in retaining rainwater on the surface. This water would then flow into shallow rivers, or wadis, which were carefully collected in cisterns and reservoirs. By constructing dams and other water storage systems, the ancient Palmyrans managed to create a reliable water supply in the middle of the desert. This discovery sheds new light on the ingenuity of ancient desert civilizations. 5. Roman concrete. Roman concrete has long been admired for its durability and strength. Unlike modern concrete, which often crumbles after a few decades, Roman structures like the Pantheon and aqueducts have stood the test of time for thousands of years. What was their secret? Researchers discovered that Roman concrete was made using volcanic ash, or pozzolana, combined with lime and other ingredients. This unique mixture not only made the concrete incredibly strong, but also allowed it to self-repair over time. When cracks began to form, the lime would react with water, filling in the gaps and preventing further damage. This process of self-healing concrete has fascinated modern engineers and chemists, and the ancient Roman technique may hold valuable lessons for the construction industry today. Number 4. The construction of the Great Pyramids. The Great Pyramids of Giza are perhaps the most iconic monuments of ancient Egypt, yet their construction has been a subject of speculation for centuries. How did the ancient Egyptians manage to transport and assemble the massive limestone blocks used to build these colossal structures? Recent discoveries have provided some of the most compelling evidence yet. Archaeologists found an abandoned quarry near the pyramids, which revealed how the Egyptians quarried and transported the blocks. The Nile River played a critical role, as the blocks were ferried downstream on barges when the water levels were at their highest. From there, the blocks were hauled to the pyramid site using ramps, which allowed workers to move the stones up the structure in horizontal layers. This labor-intensive process involved tens of thousands of workers and took over 20 years to complete. Incredibly, it's now estimated that up to 250 blocks could have been produced and transported in a single day. 3. The Maya calendar. The Maya civilization was known for its sophisticated understanding of astronomy and mathematics, but one of their most puzzling creations was their calendar system, particularly the use of a mysterious 819-day cycle. For years, scholars couldn't figure out how this cycle related to planetary movements, leading to a wealth of speculation and conspiracy theories. Finally, researchers from Tulane University cracked the code. The 819-day cycle was just one part of a much larger system, spanning 20 periods and covering 45 years. When viewed through this extended time frame, the orbits of all the observable planets lined up perfectly with the calendar. This discovery not only demystified the Maya calendar, but also highlighted their incredible mastery of both mathematics and the natural world. 2. The City of Troy. For centuries, the city of Troy was considered a myth, immortalized in Homer's Iliad, but with no concrete evidence to support its existence. That changed in the late 19th century when Heinrich Schliemann and Frank Calvert began excavating a site in modern-day Turkey, uncovering the ruins of what is now believed to be the city of Troy. Troy was not just one city, but a series of settlements built on top of one another, with the layers revealing the city's long and storied history. While the legendary events of the Trojan War remain debated, archaeologists are confident that Troy existed and was likely the inspiration for Homer's epic tales. Excavations continue to provide insight into the city's significance in ancient times. 1. The vanished army of Cambyses. 2. One of the most famous military mysteries in history is the fate of Cambyses II's army. According to Herodotus, the Persian ruler sent 50,000 soldiers into Egypt's western desert to attack the Oracle of Amun at the Siwa oasis. However, the entire army was supposedly lost in a massive sandstorm, vanishing without a trace. For centuries, historians questioned whether the story was true or merely a legend. But in 2009, Two Italian archaeologists, Angelo and Alfredo Castiglione, found evidence that supports the story's authenticity. Near the Siwa oasis, they uncovered Persian artifacts and human remains that may belong to Cambyses II's lost army. While the discovery doesn't confirm every detail of Herodotus's account, it provides the first tangible evidence that the story is rooted in reality. Did you enjoy this video?